Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this. This is your weekly WWE SmackDown Live review. This is the 900th episode of WWE SmackDown. Looking forward to bringing down the show. And incidentally, I'm going solo tonight. I want to hear what you guys have to think live. So put in the comments, you give this show a win, you give this show a loss, you give this show a tie. Questions, queries, we'll answer them. Also, if you're not watching live, A, thanks for being with us, and B, put in the comments what you thought of the show, win, loss, or tie. With that all out the way, I myself, this is a tough one because I rate this show on two things. Entertainment, because it's the 900 show, I want to be entertained. And B, did it do its job of what Monday didn't do last night of building Survivor Series up? I believe that this show did a better job at building towards the Survivor Series pay-per-view than Raw did. I have blue headphones. I am a blue guy. I have a blue energy drink. I'm blue. I'm Team Blue, baby. I'm rooting for every single SmackDown Survivor Series team there is and hope they fucking kick their ass. That's how good this show was of making me care about Survivor Series. I'm coming on the show and saying I'm excited for the show, and they did a decent enough job, and the show starts off with Shane McMahon. He comes out, his entrance still always will melt my heart. That come out, I love that. I absolutely adore that. It's amazing. Brian comes out too. They welcome everyone to the show. Obviously announces SmackDown Live 900. They announced the IC title match will be also kicking off the show. Now, one thing I want to touch on while it's rattling around in my brain, the Undertaker made the return at the end of the show. Now, just while this is rattling around my brain, because I didn't take notes upon this, as literally the show just finished. I have my notes here, but would you have preferred it if the Undertaker's return wasn't announced? Like, you could still announce Edge returning, but I would have loved it if Taker's return wasn't announced, so that when Taker came out, the pop would have been great like it was, but it'd have been even better because it'd been that surprise pop. But that being said, I did love the little teasers they did of the Undertaker all night. But anyway, Shane that comes out, decent enough. It's your standard traditional SmackDown opener. I like how it didn't take long. It was like, okay, this is SmackDown Live 900. This is what's going on tonight. This is what next. Boom. Let's get on with it. So we have IC title Miz versus Dolph Ziggler. There is still a 4-man commentary team. I sit there. I'm scratching my head. I'm scratching my chin here, scratching my neck, scratching my bollocks. And I'm thinking, why the fuck is there a 4-man commentary team? And when they kicked off the show, Mauro said our host of the evening, Tom Phillips, if this is a new thing that WWE's going to do, fucking shoot me already. 3 is already too much. Taking the piss. They're going to have the whole of the front row. They're going to be popping headsets on, okay? Front row will no longer be available to sell, only on 3 of the sides, because fucking commentary. Unbelievable. You'll have the commentary team next week will be Michael Cole, Corey Graves, Mauro Ranallo, David Otunga, Byron Saxton, all these fucking jabrones. Half of them could call matches, half of them are just there to look pretty. David Otunga. How many times now? Now, this is an interesting one. How many times have we seen Dolph Ziggler versus Miz? If there's anyone out there who has done a tally, who has done some homework and research, can you please tell me how many times on television, and that includes pay-per-views as well, have we seen Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz? My estimate is at least 20. That's all time. I remember they had a feud of the IC title a couple of years back at the SummerSlam and Night of Champions, and now we get it every other week on SmackDown Live, and that's the issue with SmackDown Live, and I think SmackDown Live is the best show of the week. The best WWE show of the week anyway. And I just like how it just feels more important. It just feels like I'm actually watching live television. But they have a tendency to repeat, and repeat. So if TNA has delete, WWE has repeat. SmackDown Live has repeat. It's repeat after repeat, repetition. An example, you got Miz, Dolph Ziggler. Now, this program's been great. They had a career-threatening match on the line last month at the Backlash or No Mercy. People have gotten mixed up. But with the main event, this program's gone on since Backlash and we're still going on. And I think they did a good enough job here of building that in the main event segment of the night with AJ and Ambrose. And I think there's going to be a good TLC match because I think both of them will be willing to risk with TLC matches. I think that's what's all about. That's what I think Hell in a Cell people have felt a bit let down because the standards are so high for people to jump off those high things. Really doesn't help. But what I like about this is not only if it's for the IC title, but it's the chance to represent SmackDown versus Zayn. Now I'm sat here thinking to myself, okay, Ziggler can retain, and then I can sit back, relax, and at the pay-per-view enjoy Dolph Ziggler versus Sami Zayn. The Miz got the win here. He's your new Intercontinental Champion. I thoroughly enjoyed the match. I'll quickly break it down. So Miz got a good near fall after the skull-crushing finale. Ziggler hit a really nice transition to the zigzag for 2. Great near fall. Spirit Squad comes out. Ziggler takes care of them, but then Miz applies the figure 4. Ziggler got to the ropes. I loved how he scratched and clawed. Great storytelling. I love that. Miz then goes... Basically, Ziggler rolls him up. And as he's in the inside cradle, Maurice pushes Miz, which puts him over Ziggler, which lets him get the win. So Miz is your new champion. It was shocking. It was a moment, I guess, which they can go for. But I just hate the idea of missing out on Ziggler versus Sami Zayn. Now, here's what I believe is going to happen with this IC title. I'm going to touch on it now, and we're going to be talking about it a lot on this channel, as we're going to be doing a preview show on Thursday or Friday, one of the above. Now, this is what I think will happen. Excuse me. I think Sami Zayn will win the IC title. I think the IC title will go over to Raw. I think Kalisto will win the Cruiserweight title. I believe the Cruiserweight title will come over to SmackDown, because then it's easier travel for the Cruiserweights if they can just do SmackDown and then do 205 Live after. And you could, on SmackDown, you could promote 205 Live, saying, look, after this show, you're going to get 205 Live. And that means you could also have Mauro Ranallo call every single Cruiserweight match. And I think that helps a lot. Also, you're now thinking, why the fuck would the IC title be on Raw? They already have the US Championship as their secondary belt, and I understand that. Hold your thought. Don't fucking delete me. You have already announced Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns at the Red Bull. Well, it's announced from their website, not the WWE's website, the Arena's website. So you have Reigns and Owens, and you have Reigns put his US title on the line for a shot at the Universal Championship. So that way the US title becomes defunct. An example is, if you take your mind back to, I think it was No Mercy 02 with Triple H and Kane. Kane wanted a shot at the world title. He then surrendered and forfeited his IC title, which then was defunct until Judgment Day 3 when Steve Austin became co-GM. He brought that back. Yes, I'm a sad wrestling nerd. You could do that again. And you could always just bring the US title back if you need it. If you really need it on SmackDown, you need a mid-card belt, you can bring the US title back. But I think the Cruiserweight division can be focused a lot more on SmackDown, and I think it's a draw for SmackDown, because SmackDown needs exclusive things, because SmackDown TV ratings haven't been as good as Raw. But I recommend you guys, back to the whole IC title match on this show, I recommend you guys check this match out as a decent 2.5, 3-star match, and I think spectacular, but a good enough match for WTV, and much better than anything we saw on last night's Raw for sure. Swig a drink for the working man. I just hacked Steve Austin so bad then. Guess what? I don't even care. So we're backstage. We have Alexa Bliss showing Daniel Bryan footage of last week where Alexa Bliss was foot under the ropes. The referee was being an imbecile. Bryan says that she will get a rematch later, but focus on the Survivor Series elimination matches Sunday with all the women. I dig that. And what I didn't dig, I'm gonna talk about that before what else happened on this exact segment. I really like how the focus is on the 5-on-5. I understand that, you're in this position, but Bryan's like, I need you to focus, and I need you to pay all your attention on the Survivor Series elimination match, which I like. Natalya comes in, she blows a whistle, she's motivating. It's not funny. I did not find this funny at all, and I've not found Natalya funny for several weeks. And at the start, it's like, okay, it's Natalya, I can get over it. But now it's getting to the point where it irritates me. I don't want to hear her with that whistle. I don't know if that's the plan, to make you hate her, but it's not me hating her, it's me hating the character. Like, Natalya is a waste of a talent. She's extremely talented, and she's fucking blowing a whistle. Waste. Then we have Kalisto versus Only Larkin. That's Biff Busick to you and I. Match started off with Larkin attacking from behind. He hit a lovely half-and-half suplex. Kalisto slips during a springboard spot for a luchador who does that every night of the week. It's just not good enough, and he has a tendency to fuck up. Damn you. He hits the Soleil del Sol to get the win. I hope he didn't get hurt, because the match just brutally ended after the springboard. Maybe he twisted an ankle or something. I hope he's okay. We really do. I don't want to see him hurt, especially for the Survivor Series Kendrick match, which I already think Kalisto's going to win, and the SmackDown title can come over. And I hope it's a better match than that, because that's very sloppy. And that's not on Larkin, because I thought he had a decent enough showing. I hope if he's below 205, I hope he could be part of the Cruiserweight division on SmackDown, if it comes over, of course. Then we had backstage, we had the Team SmackDown tag team. They're getting motivated by King Booker. King Booker puts over the importance of the match, and then fucking Fandango and Tyler Breeze come in. They're the fashion police. They give out these ticket gimmicks. Booker T then cuts a good promo, basically saying, guys, look, this is serious enough with your bullshit, and then just says, tell me you didn't just say that, and he was awesome, and he did his little pinky gimmick. I loved it. It was nostalgia. On a show like this, I touched on right at the beginning of the show. It's all about, entertainment. And I was entertained by that. I think King Book was an important part of SmackDown history, and they showed you that. Then we had Nikki Bella versus Carmella. And I tell you what, the match wasn't that bad. And that what happened after did a fucking phenomenal job of making me, for the first time since announced, excited for the 5-on-5 women's traditional Survivor Series tag match. The very first time. I've never been excited for this tag match. Zero. After Raw, I'm excited for one thing. Actually, two things. One, film the show of Sammy, because I didn't show of Sammy in ages. Check the Raw review out if you haven't. Two, sleep. Here, I'm like, okay, let's get my wallet out. Let's shed my $9.99. I've already subscribed, but, I can picture a non-subscriber going, look, cash out my $9.99 because I want to see them fight. So you have Nikki Bella and Carmella. Carmella at the start of this match hit a beautiful draper neck breaker off the apron. Really, really, really was nasty. And this is one thing I don't get. Okay, Raw didn't make sense because they were tagging up. This didn't make sense either because it was let it out of the system was a phrase used by the commentators a lot during this show. What? So you want, your two members of the team to beat each other up, injure and hurt them before 5 nights prior to the pay-per-view where they're going to be face on the same team. I don't understand that logic, but it's WWE, so you just got to go with it. Excuse me. She really worked the neck. Carmella didn't. I really did enjoy it. And it's, again, looking at it from a kayfabe point of view, it doesn't make sense why a general manager would make a match between these two, considering they're on the same page. Surely you would actually do what Raw did, where you team them up. So you got rivalries who hate each other, like Nikki Bella and Carmella having to team up to face two other people. I think they could have done that, and I wish they did. But the match itself was okay. But then Charlotte, she has a ticket. She's from Team Raw, obviously. She sits from Raw. Nikki attacks Charlotte. The bell rings. I didn't like this. The bell rung after Nikki hit Charlotte. That shouldn't matter. It should have been when Charlotte hit Nikki. Little pet peeves on mine that really fucked me off. All of Team Raw come in through the crowd like they did on Monday's Raw. They beated. They didn't talk, though. They came out. They beated on Nikki. Carmella, this was a great moment. A great storytelling. So she kind of looks over like, I fucking hate Nikki Bella. She's such a whore. She sucked the cock to get where she is. And she says, fuck it, I'm Team Blue. She runs in. She tries to help. But then she gets beaten down. And then the rest of Team SmackDown come out to help. There's a big brawl. Jax misses a spear in the barricade and goes through the barricade. Stupid fat whore. And then I'm joking. Naomi then hits a springboard crossbody to the floor, and to everyone, SmackDown stands tall, united. I loved this. Brilliant build. Excitement. The crowd were hot. The crowd popped. Great. And what I like is, on SmackDown, Team SmackDown are the baby faces. Raw are the heels. On Raw, SmackDown were the faces and Raw were the heels because the crowd presented it that way. The crowd changed it. Because they don't like Raw. People who pay to watch Raw rooted for Team SmackDown. Yet people who paid for SmackDown were happy with the show and rooted for Team SmackDown. Really like that. And the match itself wasn't too bad either. Again, repetition. We've seen Nikki Bella and Carmella 18,295 times. Speaking of 18,295, that's how many man tags there was. We had an 18,125 man tag match. We had Spirit Squad, the Headbangers, the Ascension, and the Vaudevillains versus the Usos, American Alpha, Breezango, and the Hype Bros with Heath Slater and Rhino, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, on commentary. Fuck. Imagine presenting that idea to Vince. Vince is like, just do it. Dude, whatever. It sounded cool. Jesus Christ. And I talked about being a Team Blue guy right at the start of the show. I do not know if I can root for them in the tag match. You have the Usos, who I hate, and Zack Ryder, who I fucking hate, and Mojo Rawley, who I despise, and he's a cunt. I don't like saying this, but he's a cunt. I despise jobber. So Team Blue get the win. That being the team that will be at the Survivor Series, the Usos, the Alpha, the Breezango, the Hype Bros. after American Alpha hit the Grand Altitude on Headbanger, and I like that. That's smart booking. None of the current teams who are on the current roster right now took the fall, took the loss. So I like that. It was okay. I didn't buy. I'm still not excited. Sorry, I'm not excited for the 5-on-5, or sorry, 10-on-10, or 5-team versus 5-team Survivor Series match. I'm really not interested. It means nothing to me. Now with this, okay, this is an idea I threw out there a very long time ago. I'm hoping, obviously, that you watched all the shows, but in case you missed it, because there's a lot of shows here, and it's possible for you guys to miss, or if you just watch Raw on SmackDown, which some of you do, and that's great. But what about, okay, so say you're, on Team SmackDown. Give these guys the opportunity. Say, whoever is left standing after the bell ring, if your team wins and you're one of those teams left standing, you get a tag title match. How about that? So say if there's 5 of you left standing after the end and the whole team survives, each of you will get a tag team title match. If there's only one sole surviving team, that team will get a tag title match. Do the same with the women, where the last woman standing gets a women's title match, or there's 3 of them, then you get 3 women's championship matches. And then in the main event, if a Raw sole survivor, that man gets a universal title match. SmackDown, there's a sole survivor, that man gets a WWE World title match. If there's 2 of them get it. Just booking for the future and a reason to care apart from the brand supremacy. Now, they've done a good enough job on this show to make me care about the Raw v SmackDown. But I think to the casual, that really won't matter. It really won't. So what I hope they do is they do that. And they won't, because it's too late. It upsets me, but what can you do as WWE? And then the Edge comes out. This was brilliant. Tony Chimble does the Rated R Superstar, and it was absolutely brilliant. Mark out Central. I'm there fucking going along with Edge. Blah, blah, blah. And he brings out Team SmackDown after he puts over SmackDown and Shield Survivor Series. Edge shakes Ellsworth's hands, which pissed off AJ Styles, of course. Ellsworth wants to do the 5-second pose. AJ stops it, calling it stupid. Edge interviews Randy. Randy doesn't move, talk, or blink. It's really fucking awesome. Bray says Randy Orton will be more violent than ever this Sunday at Survivor Series. Shane says only one night. You guys must stay on the same page. AJ and Ambrose cuts promo on each other, hyping not only the Survivor Series, but also the TLC pay-per-view, because that's on Sunday. It will be 2 weeks. So Jesus, so once Survivor Series is over, boom, it's back to normality, with SmackDown Live building towards the TLC. And I think Ambrose and AJ, as I touched on earlier on the show, could be a good TLC match. Then Undertaker's gong hits, and a thunderous ovation. And if there is anyone out there who does not respect the daylights out of Taker, then I've got a problem with you. And I have a serious, like, this guy, any other person in the whole entire world plays that character, The Undertaker, it would not get over. But because of who it is, this character's over. In 2016, over 26 years since this character debuted, he is still over. Absolutely brilliant. Taker gets into Shane's face, and I'm thinking, oh my God, Taker's going to be pissed off, because at Mania there was a stipulation. Remember where Shane, if Shane lost, he wasn't allowed to be commissioner or whatever, and Shane lost. But anyway, Taker says Mania won't define him. He's back collecting souls. Does that mean he's back full time? Did I just misunderstand the promo when I was taking? Because obviously I was taking notes. Did I misunderstand it because I was shaking because the Undertaker's on my fucking screen? I don't know. Again, Incemetery, help me out here. He calls SmackDown his home and says if they fail, they will have him to answer to. And then JBL, the last line of the show, the battle lines have been drawn. Let's go to war. JBL, you usually suck, but that was a magnificent line. Taker come out, that was brilliant, that was special. The main event segment felt like the 900th episode of SmackDown. And also, Taker putting pressure on these guys, which I like, because maybe in the future, whoever lets him down, there could be some repercussions for, so that keeps future storylines alive. So I want to thank everyone here. I'm going to get some live comments, see if we have any. I know not recently, we're dipping down on the live comments, and that's also well and good. I just wish we had a bit more live comments. We have Ace Boss Man says, what's up? Tusha Sharma, yo. Tusha Sharma puts, hey, is The Undertaker back once and for all? I don't know if Taker's back once. I hope so. I hope we get a last Taker run. That means one last Rumble, one last February pay-per-view, and also one last Mania. And he could do like a retirement tour, whatever. You could promote it on the network as a retiring tour. Gary North says, good show tonight. I'd give it a win. Me too. I'd give the show a win. It was a very enjoyable show. I love 63. I like the idea of survivors getting title shots. It's exactly bingo, dingo, wingo. I absolutely love the idea, because then it will encourage everyone to survive. And then think about it. If you're watching it and you're like, you know what? I don't give a fuck about these Team Raw, Team SmackDown, but I really fucking get it. Think about AJ Styles. AJ Styles would want to survive, because then think about it. He can prevail and no one could have a title shot. No one. So he is the big winner. And then any man with two hands can masturbate. What a great name. You dude. Absolutely brilliant. What a brilliant, magnificent name. Any man with two hands can masturbate. What a great name. He puts what's up. I'm currently doing a show. That's what's up. I want to thank everyone for leaving a live comment. I want to thank you all for joining me. I want to thank you if you're joining post-live. I hope you all enjoyed SmackDown Live 900. I enjoyed SmackDown Live 900 a lot more than the fucking Raw. Check out the Raw review. Check out me. I uploaded a mini clip of me going fucking batshit crazy during the Raw review, because I really did go a little bit mad during one of the segments. So check that out. Also check us out on KocoSports.net. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at LK Wrestling. I'll follow you back as long as you're not an imbecile Nimrod. Also a Patreon. The VIP was a fuck up. Not on my end, on that company's end, with everything going on. The VIP was a fuck up. People couldn't log in. They couldn't sign up. It was bullshit. So I've looked around, and Patreon. Okay, Patreon, pledge what you please. Whatever makes you happy. I'm grateful for everything. Even if you don't, I appreciate you watching this show. And thank you for watching this show. Leave a like, leave a comment on what you thought of this show. Thank you, live listeners. I do appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't. We're on the road to 7,000. Let's get to 7,000 by next week's SmackDown Live. By SmackDown Live episode 901, we should be by 7,000 subscribers. That's my goal. That's my mission. That's my task in life. We'll be back tomorrow with a weekly NXT review, hopefully joined by my co-host Boom Boom, also Sammy in particular. Also, we're going to do an NXT TakeOver prediction show on Wednesday. Thursday will be a Lucha Underground review, a Lucha Elite, and a Survivor Series 2016 preview and prediction show. Friday, your weekly TNA Impact Wrestling review, as well as your Ring of Honor review. Saturday, Sammy's covering NXT TakeOver review. I will not be, as I'll be out partying as it's my friend's birthday. And then Sunday we'll be back with your Survivor Series 2016 review. Same place, same damn time, same damn channel, right here on Koco Sports. Thank you all for joining me. Make sure you all stay safe. Make sure you stay well, because it's a fucked up world out there. And I'll be catching your asses down the line.